Hey guys. Hey guys. Let me know if you can hear me. So I haven't done a live in a while, so I thought I would hop on here and talk to y'all for a little bit. Make sure the comments are on here. Hey guys. How are y'all been? It has been a really long time since I last done a live. Trying to get the comments on here. Okay, I don't know if the comment. Oh, I guess the comments are on. Hi. So I thought I would do a live. I haven't done one in a really long time. Lives make me a little bit nervous. But I thought I would answer some of y'all's questions that y'all have and just do a quick live stream before bed. I'm still very sore from my procedure. It's Sunday night, so it's been a couple of days since my procedure, and I've just still been resting a lot. Not like sleeping, resting, but just like laying around a lot. Just not doing a whole lot. I did a little walk today, but I didn't do a long walk because it hurt my stomach to do that too long. Tomorrow my home health nurse is supposed to be here. Probably for the last time. I don't know, we'll have to see. She said, I think it was last week, that it might be one of her last times to come, but I don't know yet. She said she wanted to see how I'm doing. And then depending on how tomorrow goes, we'll see from there if it's her last visit or if she comes back. Hey guys, I got a lot in the chat. Thank you for subscribing. Oh, what happened? I was talking about my home health nurse that I have that comes once a week. She's been coming since after my feeding tube placement surgery, and she just comes. I think at first she came like twice a week, but now she comes once a week. And anyways, yeah, that's what I was talking about. She only comes once a week now on Mondays, or it depends on what day she's available, but this week it's gonna be on a Monday, and she just checks like my blood pressure and make sure I'm not losing weight or anything like that. Last time I weighed, I didn't hit my goal weight yet, but um, we're not, as long as I'm not losing weight, we're not really concerned about it. Any questions while y'all are on here? Hi everyone. Yeah, I haven't done a live stream in a long time because the last live stream I did was like a year ago or almost a year ago, and it makes me kind of nervous to go live. Hi everyone. I wanted to wait a couple of minutes to see if anybody had any questions. I really enjoy YouTube because it's a way for me to kind of talk about what I go through and like help other people while doing it. So it's been really fun. I did stay home from church today because I'm still really sore. I didn't want to like do too much because I want to have a few days to heal. Yeah, being on a feeding tube is like a full-time job. I flush it every like 3 to 4 hours. If you don't know what flushing is, it's putting water through the tube to clean it so that it doesn't clog up. I do that like every 3 to 4 hours until it gets to about 9 o'clock at night. Then I'll flush it right before I go to bed, and then um, I wait till the morning to flush it again because I don't get up during the nighttime to flush it. Aw, thank you. See, other than flushing my tube, um, the the bags that I use to put my formula in, I do change the bag at night. So when I get my night feeds ready, I change the bag and put my pump on the charger. And I get usually like 1.5 bottles at night. And then when my mom gets up in the morning, she refills the bag for me. Have they fully figured out what caused the problem? Are you talking about the gastroparesis? What specific problem are you talking about? Or are you talking about why I have a feeding tube? Oh, the gastroparesis? So that was caused from a previous surgery I had. Basically, it's kind of a long story, but I was born with a birth defect that caused a lot of issues, a lot of my insides to be in the wrong spot, and I've had a lot of surgeries in my life. I had what's called a repair surgery as a baby, which is where they put my insides back in the right spot. And then I was fine until the age of 19, and then I started having really bad health issues to the point every time I would eat, I would get really sick. I couldn't hold my food down, and we found out I had a hernia. And so I went to go get my hernia fixed, and we did a general surgeon, not a specialist. And basically, what happened was that the surgeon he hit a nerve in my stomach, and basically that caused gastroparesis. So gastroparesis, if you don't know, it's where my stomach is partially paralyzed. And so after I was diagnosed with gastroparesis, I was on a special diet, which is like eating smaller, more frequent meals. And also, like, the special diet was also like you couldn't eat a lot of foods that was like high in fiber because gastroparesis means that your digestion is slower than it should be. So you're not supposed to have foods that's high in fiber, like a lot of fruits and vegetables, because that slows down your digestion even more. So before all my health stuff, when I could eat real food, I was um, I was eating like a toddler size meal like every other hour, and that's what it was like until we found out I had a hernia again, and I wasn't able to keep down my food like more than like 30 minutes at that point. And I got a lot of testing done and found out that part of my health issues was coming from my gastroparesis, and part of it was coming from my hernia. So, basically, long story short, we used a general surgeon to do my surgery instead of a specialist, and he didn't really know what he was doing and couldn't see very well, and that's where he hit my nerve in my stomach, and that's what caused gastroparesis. But I also do have a hernia again, and they couldn't fix it, and so that's why I'm on a feeding tube now, is because between my gastroparesis and my hernia, I wasn't able to keep down food longer than like 30 minutes. So, and there are a few things that I can't have by mouth, like I can have like plain ice cream and peanut butter and things like that, but I can't have enough by mouth um where I can have enough calories. And even the things that, well, I do have a G tube and a J tube, but they're separate. So my J tube, I have where I get my feedings from, and then the G tube that goes to my stomach, it's just for venting. So the things that I can have, that I can have by mouth, it has to melt enough to go through my tube. So, any other questions y'all might have? Welcome, Kat. Thank you for the nice comments. Oh, that's really sweet, William. That's really cool. Yeah, I met another survivor at one of the hospitals I was actually at. It was like a couple years ago when I was having some testing done for some of my health issues. Um, I met another survivor there, so that's, I like meeting new survivors. That's really cool. So a lot of people ask, is my feeding tube something that I'm going to be on for the rest of my life? And the answer is very likely yes. I can't hold enough down by mouth to keep on a good weight. So right now I'm on 4 bottles of formula a day for 24 hours. So yeah, that's like all the time. Um, it's definitely gotten easier over the past few months, like learning about it. There was this one time where I meant to hit the button on my feeding tube pump where um it like starts it, like the feeding part starts, and I accidentally hit like the part of it where, or it was the button that like went with the rating, and I like messed it up a little bit, and so it started like beeping loudly in the middle of the night, and I thought I woke up like half of the family. So there's some things about having a feeding tube that's definitely a learning experience, but it I'm very thankful for the option though. I got down to a kind of scary weight without it, and I wasn't able to keep down enough by mouth. Um, I think I've shared this story on my channel before, but for the new people, it was, I think it was a few months ago. It was shortly after my surgery, actually, after the placement surgery for my feeding tube. Um, I the company that was supposed to be sending me my formula for the first time, they got it to me late, like 3 days late. So I had went like 3 days without any type of nutrition besides the few small things I could have by mouth, like peanut butter and ice cream and things like that. And I end up almost fainting in the bathroom because of it. So now we know that if we feel like my formula is going to be a little bit late, that we call the company and we're like, hey, I have so many bottles left because you need to get the formula here on time, because we know what happens if I don't have enough nutrition. So that was definitely a learning experience. Thankfully, it hasn't happened since, but that was definitely a scary experience for me. Any other questions y'all might have? Oh, by the way, this is my bag that I keep my feeding tube pump in. Well, during the day I keep it in there, and then at night it goes on this pole over here. Put it on this pole. Yeah, I decided I wanted to make a YouTube channel because going through all the health stuff that I go through, and I don't know a lot of survivors in person, I thought it would be kind of neat to share what I go through in my life with my health stuff. And really, I would say that I was pretty much considered like pretty healthy until like the age of 19, and then that's when my health issues started, and then I had surgery, and that's when the surgeon hit my nerve and caused gastroparesis. Then I went on the special diet, and then started having health issues again, and it finally just got to the point where we couldn't really do any more surgeries or anything like that. So basically, the more surgeries you have, the more scar tissue it causes. And then it was just like my birth defect makes it where my insides are like in the wrong spot basically, and we've tried different surgeries to correct it, and it's just too dangerous to fix at this point. So we've decided at this point that I was losing a lot of weight and not able to keep enough down. So um, we decided that a feeding tube was the best option. So I did know before I got one that I was going to get a feeding tube. Whenever we went to see the surgeon the first time, he was like, by your next visit, we could be talking about a feeding tube. But the next visit after that, we were basically talking about it. Um, Aside from knowing you will probably be on a feeding tube for the rest of your life, do you have any other major issues you need to worry about? Um, Not really. Sometimes, like, I guess we do get sometimes kind of nervous when I get like really, really sick because of like how my lungs were as a baby. We don't want me getting any kind of sicknesses that would make my lungs worse. So, I mean, I don't have like trouble with breathing or anything like that, but with everything that my birth defect causes, um, if I have any type of like really bad cold or any really bad sickness, we try to get me to the doctor pretty soon after I get sick if it's really bad. Um, so there's not really any other what I would consider major issues to worry about other than being on a feeding tube for the rest of my life. Um, but there's the possibility of my insides moving, or I basically the way I took it was that my not only did I have a hernia, but then like my insides had like attached to themselves. And so anyways, just a bunch of scary stuff that my birth defect can cause. So, I mean, it kind of feels like in a way that, there's like this, I guess, little worry in the back of your mind of like what else could happen. But at the same time, like, we're very cautious when anything new comes up. We get me to the doctor on time. We make sure that if anything, um, like with my health happens that's new, that we get me to the doctor. So, yeah, I feel like my birth defect in general is like kind of scary because, like I've said, you don't know what could happen. But I feel like other than, being on a feeding tube, I feel like my health is at a pretty good place right now. I mean, I'm gaining good weight from my feeding tube. And so like I've said, I'm really glad that there's that option. Any other questions? But one thing I am really thankful for is I do have a really big support system. Like, not just the community I have on YouTube, but like even my friends and family are very supportive. So I'm very thankful for that. Anytime I'm going through something, like, so many people are there, and so that really helps. And my channel really helps me to be able to be open about what I go through. So that's one reason why I like to share my journey. Is because the birth defect that I was born with isn't very common. And so I like to share my experience. But, something that I've learned in my life, especially through like knowing what all my birth defect causes or has caused, is I feel very blessed in what I do have. And so, I don't know, just like every day that I have, I just feel very blessed. And like any way that the doctors can figure out how to, you know, help my health and things like that, I feel very blessed that I get that opportunity, to be able to get the vitamins and stuff that I need, even if it's the feeding tube and not the way that I was expecting. Thank you everyone for watching. I haven't done a live in like so long. I think it's been almost a year. Yeah, if you're watching and you're not subscribed to my channel, on my channel I talk more about my birth defect, having a disability, and my feeding tube and things like that. So if you want more like updates on things like that, I do post pretty often on my channel. So hi Kat, it's nice to meet you. I find it one thing about YouTube that I find really exciting is like people like finding my channel and more people knowing my story because I get really excited to share it with other people. And like on video, like on my channel, I know that I come across very positive about it. And I am really that way, like in person. Like I always try to look at the positive side of it. Um, Even when it is hard, I do share the hard, but I also, look at the positive and try to share as many positive things as I can. Any other questions y'all might have? Yeah, there's many ways that it helps me find peace in what I go through. Um, I guess a few examples of that would be one is I do have a huge community of support, not just on YouTube, but also like my friends and my family are really supportive, which I'm very thankful. And um, also, I'm a singer at my church, so being able to sing, does help. So I also really like listening to music because I don't know, there's just something about listening to certain songs that just like helps you. I don't know how to explain it, but music is one thing that really helps me get through hard stuff. And a lot of times just like processing the information and then just keep moving forward with that because there are some things that you just can't help and that's kind of the way it is and that's kind of how I've viewed my health stuff is like take the information and process it and then keep going forward because like even in the hard things like you're the one that you know gets to decide how you're going to pass that information forward and like how you're going to like mentally take it and stuff. So I try to as much as I can find the positive because that really helps. Thank you for all the nice comments. Oh, thank you for subscribing. I really do enjoy making videos. It's one thing that really helps me to be open. So I guess it kind of helps me talk about what I'm going through when I make videos. So I really do enjoy it. What actually got me into YouTube was before I made my channel, I was watching like other people, and I really like to watch people that share their experiences with either having special needs themselves or having someone in their family with special needs. And I'm like, hey, I could do that. And then, like, after I started having health issues and stuff, I was like, hey, that's kind of like a way to like share my life and like encourage people at the same time. So that's when I decided I wanted to do YouTube. So I really enjoy it. It's really fun. So basically, like, my hernia wasn't able to get to be fixed um, because of how severe it is. So um, that's one reason I got a feeding tube. My J tube, it goes into my intestines, and that's where I get um, my feed, and then my J tube that goes into my stomach just for venting. So that's that's how I'm able to get my nutrition. So um, my G tube and J tube are separate, and I did know in advance that I was going to get one. I just didn't know exactly when. So I was prepared for it. Now I use just a regular backpack. That's the one I use. So I basically carry it around everywhere, um, unless I'm going to bed, or if I'm in bed, then it goes on my pole. Yeah, I haven't done a live in so long. I was excited to do one again. It has been a while. I forget how much I miss it till I don't do one for a while, and then I jump on and I'm like, this is really fun. Any other questions? I think it's so cool when like other people follow my story and follow my channel. Like I really love being able to help people. So I think that's really cool. Well, thank you for subscribing. For everyone that's been commenting what happened, just been sharing my health stuff. Hi, Star. So yeah, I covered quite a bit on my channel, all the way from having special needs to having a feeding tube to um, basically just my life with special needs and health issues. So if you want to go follow, you can follow me on my channel. Did everyone have a good 4th of July? I had a okay 4th of July. I'm not much into fireworks. They've always kind of bothered me. The noise has. Um, but this 4th of July, I've been recovering from um, getting a button replacement for my feeding tube, and so I was basically stuck in bed on the 4th. I've still mostly been in bed since the feeding tube placement. Oh, that sounds fun. You want swimming? Yeah, our family doesn't do like the really big fireworks. We do have like some people that will do them, but like under supervision. And they usually do it like at our football field. Um, but you're supposed to have like supervision to do the big fireworks. So we're really only allowed to do the small ones here. Um, but our family does like the poppets and the the ones that throw confetti out that you like poppers, I think is what they're called. Do I have sensory issues? Yes, sometimes. It's not like a all the time type of thing, but loud noises really bothers me. Really bothers me. Um, Fireworks, parades, things like that. That's really loud bothers me. So a lot of times, if I know that I'm going to be going to something super loud, I'll bring headphones. Aw, thank you for the sweet comment. Y'all are so sweet. Yeah, sharing my life has always been like I just want to help people, share my story, and hopefully help encourage people. Oh, speaking of like sensory issues, not just with noise, but like loud sounds really bother me, like fireworks or like extremely loud noises, those things bother me. But another thing that has bothered me since I was a kid as far as sensory issues has been like some types of clothing. If they feel a certain way, I don't want to wear it. Same with shoes. I've always been very picky with my shoes. Um, so my church shoes are just slip-ons, so those are fine. But as far as like tennis shoes that tie, um, I've always been very picky with those. I'll either wear them like super, super loose or super, super tight. And I think it really is a sensory thing that I do. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I've done several things in my life that I've done since I was a child that I still do as an adult that I think that um has to do with probably sensory issues or I like the feeling of doing it. Um this sounds like really weird, but I like to like have whenever I'm asleep, I like to have like my legs like crossed in a certain way and I've always been like that. Like even as a child, we have pictures of me like taking a nap as a kid and I was like in this very specific posture that I've just always loved. But like there are some things that's like I also have anxiety, so some things it's hard to know if they're specifically like sensory or if it's more like anxiety because like if I'm somewhere that's like really really loud then it might bother me as far as like the noise like fireworks or a parade or something where I'll feel like I need to wear headphones but I don't really know if it's the fact if it's the noise or if it's the fact that I do have general anxiety and so then that makes me feel like I'm just like really uncomfortable because that's one thing that kind of like causes my anxieties. So, oh, that's really sweet. Yes, I do have a very big support system, and I'm very thankful. My friends, my family, and my church family are very supportive, as well as my the people on YouTube are very supportive as well. And I'm very, very thankful for the community of support that I have. I've just always enjoyed sharing my story and my life with people. So I am very thankful for the support that I do have. It's pretty amazing. Does anyone have any other questions before I go? Thank you, Mike. That's really sweet. Oh, that's really cool, Mike. I one of the like my dream job is to actually adopt from foster care. That's like one of the like my big thing that I want to do. So that's really cool. Yeah, thankfully I've always been a very positive person, trying to see the positive side of the situation. So I'm really thankful that I've always had that kind of attitude, because then whenever like my health stuff started happening, then it was a lot easier to keep that, you know, attitude of okay, we're going to go through this now. And I guess that's kind of how I see it, is like when something else comes my way, like yeah, it's another thing, but I feel like I learned something from all of it, and I I keep a really good attitude about it. What type of church were you brought up in? Oh, thank you for subscribing, Mike. What church are you a part of? Thanks for watching, Mike. See you next time. Any other questions before I get off? Well, I gotta go and get my night feed ready. So I will catch y'all in the next video. Thank you all for watching. I'll see y'all all next time. Bye, everyone.